Welcome to the Polaris Connection, your podcast that connects parents of autistic children with purpose. I am your host, Brad Broyles, and I'm here with my empowering co-host, Nathan Palmer.
I love the introductions and love to be here, Brad.
Well, thank you for being here. Since we started the podcast, I've been wanting to do this show. I am so excited. I couldn't even sleep last night. Today, we are here to join us today. We are with two influential Arizonans, Lucy Willing and Lindsey White from Love Your School. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks so much for having us.
I can say, Nathan, we love Your School.
Hands down. You guys have been such an amazing resource, not just to us, but for our families. And we can't wait for you to share some of your gifts and information with those that are following us.
Yes. So thank you so much. As a way, I like to do, if it's okay with you, Lucy, I like to give you a quick introduction. Is that all right?
That's great. Thank you.
Lucy is passionate about school choice and helping families find the educational options that serve them best. She holds a degree in biblical studies with a counseling focus from Lancaster Bible College. Where's Lancaster at?
It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So all the way on the East Coast is where I'm from, and came over to Arizona and realized the beauty of education freedom. So just to give you guys a little shout out, we are so grateful for Polaris Academy and for all you guys do, because it gives us a resource to give to families. So just thank you for that. Sorry to interrupt your wonderful introduction. I just wanted to
boost our ego as much as you want.
Well, I just think that it's cool that you came from a Bible college and that you have a master's in Phoenix at a Phoenix seminary. Is that right?
Yes, I'm working towards my master's in Phoenix at Phoenix Seminary. My husband and I both attend there, and we love being able to learn about biblical education and understand the scriptures more deeply. And that's actually how I met Jenny, was at church, and how I got involved at Love Your School. So
cool.
She went to Southern Seminary. And so we kind of get to share that background together. She's our beloved founder and CEO for any listeners who are tuning in right now.
Well, that's awesome. So do you guys ever clash in biblicals? Like, so she's the Southern Seminary, you're from the Phoenix Seminary. You're like, hey, my seminary is better than your seminary. Do you ever do that?
Thankfully, no, because she's on the board of Phoenix Seminary as well.
Oh.
So she governs it well.
And this isn't hate all other schools. This is Love Your School.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Love. So I'm a little bit sorry about that. That's the football sense of me coming out. So
it's the season.
It is the season, and with you is Lindsey White. And Lindsey, I call you so much. I have your phone number on speed dial. Thank you so much for all you do for Polaris Academy.
Yeah.
As a way of introduction, Lindsey White has called the East Valley home since 2015, originally from Northern Indiana.
Yep.
And it's you grew up in a dairy farm, is that right?
100%. Yep. So when you think of like rural Indiana, cornfields, just nothing, that's where I'm from. That's exactly where I'm from.
That's the heartland of America.
Well,
Love it. You got your degree from organizational communication from Purdue University. So go Boilermakers.
That's right. Boiler up.
Your family relocated here to Arizona when your daughter was just preparing for kindergarten.
Yeah.
That's what I understand.
4 days before she started kindergarten, July for Arizona, we roll in. So yeah.
The best time, 120 degree weather.
That's exactly.
You went from 80 degrees to 120.
Yep, that's exactly right.
The street signs are melting at that.
Oh my word. It was like,
Well,
what
hey,
did
true
we do?
Boilermakers,
What did
you came
we
to the
do?
place where it happens.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I like that you said, like Lindsey, and this is true, you have this on your bio, and I totally agree with it. Lindsey is passionate, and I've seen this in work. She is passionate about working alongside a dedicated team to help families navigate those choices and find a school that truly fits their family's needs and values.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here, Lindsey and Lucy. Thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. We're so thrilled to be here and are excited to be a part of this.
That's great. You know, a lot of what Brad wanted to accomplish when he started this podcast was not just to inform, but to provide resources and connections. And so you guys are one of those great connections that a lot of families just don't know about. So we can't wait to just explain what you do and dive into the deep of what Love Your Schools is all about.
Yeah. And if I can tell a quick story about Lindsey, if it's all right, Nathan.
Of course.
Oh, no.
When we first started Polaris, we got involved with ESA funding and how that worked. I did not know how complicated it was. It was challenging. And somehow I always say the Lord listens to my prayers, but he listens and answers my wife's prayers. All of a sudden, Lindsey pops up in my life. And she has been such a great resource, not only for Polaris, but for all of our families and everyone that she touches to help them navigate through ESA.
Yeah, I think a third of our families were brand new to ESA when we first opened. And so seriously, invaluable resource.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
it's a joy to work with you guys. Yeah, we love our work. And I know you say all the time, Brad, that you bug us, but you don't. You really don't. It's like we'd rather be busy, and helping families. So.
Well, it's wonderful. So let's kind of get started. Lucy, please tell us about Love Your School and how did it get started?
Yes. So Love Your School started back in 2019. So we're pre-COVID, pre-Universal ESA. And it started because Jenny, our founder and CEO, had a couple kids who were really struggling with reading. And the district schools were just not able to provide the resources that they needed for their family. And she walked through the evaluation process for her kiddos, come to find out they have severe dyslexia and dysgraphia. And the process that she had to walk through was so hard. So she was like, I don't want families to have to go through this by themselves and navigate this by themselves. And so that's why she launched Love Your School. And our mission is to help families navigate education options. And we love to celebrate education freedom. And so back in 2019, we started that journey by helping families find schools near them, walk through evaluations, navigate homeschool curriculum if they're considering homeschooling. And then when ESA went universal in 2022, it unlocked an opportunity to help so many more families across Arizona. So we're helping thousands of families every year navigate their education options. So if you're a family listening in and you have questions about evaluations, school searches, what to think about with ESAs, how to navigate them, we are your one-stop shop free resource to help you walk through that all the way through. So if you have an education concern, we're here to help.
Okay, now that was a big invite, and just so we don't veer off from it, they're all going to go, great, how do I do that? How do I contact this group? What do they do?
Yes, great question. So you can, our website, loveyourschool.org, if you click down to the Arizona tab, you'll get our website. That gives you 70 resources on our website. It also gives us, you'll see a parent support button, and that'll go straight to Lindsey. You can fill out our intake form. If that sounds like a whirlwind, you can also just email hello@loveyourschool.org. And then our phone number is also on our website too, that you can text or call to get connected to us. We'd be happy to help.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, well, and I like that email. Hello.
Yeah.
I love your school.
I know. I kind of want to change ours. Instead of info, hello, welcome.
Well, and Lucy, how did you get involved with Love Your School? I love your mission. You said you met Jenny at church.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys kind of knew each other, but why are you so passionate about the mission of Love Your School?
Yes, I knew nothing about education freedom when I moved to Arizona a few years ago. It really was like walking into a different culture and world. And so many families that I knew and got to know valued this school choice option that they would talk about so much. And coming from a background where I spent time tutoring and academic mentoring many students, I knew from experience how important it was to not have a one-size-fits-all approach, that it really is individual to each student. And it seemed like these students that I was interacting with here in Arizona under school choice were thriving. And so that really sparked an interest in me to want to help them keep that and help more families access that. And that's why that's something Jenny and I connected on. And then the rest is history. I started with her a few years ago, and we've been going ever since.
Wow. That's awesome. And so, like Lindsay, tell us about your background. How did you get involved with Love Your School and its mission?
Yeah, so my background is in organizational communications, customer relations, that sort of stuff. Jenny and I were, I would say, warm acquaintances, but have multiple friends. And so it wasn't on my radar. But Jenny posted essentially my job description, and I had a mutual friend send it to me within minutes and say, I think it literally said, "This job screams Lindsey White." And so I looked at it and I was like, oh man, that would be interesting. I already like Jenny. And then we met, and that was exactly 2 years ago. So it has been super fun to be on this team, and then understanding more of the context of education freedom and the options that it has provided for my family and for everyone who lives here. It's easy to get behind. It's easy to feel energized by helping moms, helping families. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Lindsay. Why is education freedom so important? Like, why, as a parent, should I even care about it?
Right. I think for me, because I have kids in school, they are thriving. One is thriving in a charter school. One's thriving in just a district school right now. I love the fact that if that's ever not the case, my family will have options that in other states they don't have. So I think it just gives the family flexibility. It gives the parent more options to figure out a way for their kid to thrive. Because as a parent, if your kid's not thriving, it's hard. It's hard not just for them, but for the whole family.
Yeah, and it's funny, you called it educational freedom, right? As if before we weren't free, but I think what I'm hearing is it's more about choice. It's more about options. It's creating solutions.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Well, and why does Arizona promote educational freedom so much? We see that here in Arizona, but not in other states. Why is that?
Well, that's something that we are working on. We do believe that in Arizona, we were the first to get universal ESA. We have branches in West Virginia and Alabama, Love Your School branches there too. And they also have they have the national term, which is education savings accounts, but each state has their own name for it. So in West Virginia, you have the Hope Scholarship. And in Alabama, you have the Alabama Choose Act. And so we're seeing, I think we have 18 states now making school choice policies that help promote education freedom for all students in those states. So that is something that we hope to continue on. But Arizona is such a beacon of hope because we were the first ones, and we have it so free, so universal. We love the sliding scale for kiddos who might need a little bit more support. And so we do want to keep it open and available for all families here, because we kind of have this fear that if Arizona goes, so does the nation. And so by keeping it here in Arizona, we love to keep it free.
Well, and some people might think that educational freedom is a fight against public school. Would you agree to that, or what would you want to say about that?
So at Love Your School, we really do believe that every education option is we want to keep it available for kiddos. And that does include district and public schools. And that's why we love open enrollment here in Arizona, that if one district school isn't working for a family, they can go to another district school, you just with a simple application process. So we do want to keep it free and open to all schools available to families, including the district schools. Even Lindsay, her daughter's thriving at a district school. Like, I don't want to take that away from Lindsay's girls, So we do.
And Lindsay, I think I share the same story. I mean, the Polaris Academy started for my son, but my other three boys are happily at a district play school.
Yes.
And if I could just introduce a word, we keep talking about choice and options, but really what I think we're saying is it makes education personal. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. It allows us to have a personal approach to meeting the needs of children, right? Education is it's a global mandate, it's national, but ESA allows it to be personal in a way that I can approach it as a family need, not just as a state directive.
I like that.
That's exactly right. And that's why it's like, it's so easy to be on board with all the different options, because even within one family, you can have one who's at some sort of special needs school, one who's doing great at their district school and loves it because they're on a sports team. And then you have maybe one that needs to homeschool because of anxiety or bullying or something. You can have all of those situations in one family. It's not even uncommon. So we love
So what I'm hearing is that you're not trying to take kids away from public schools to go to private schools. It sounds like that you do place kiddos in public schools just as much as private schools. Is that correct?
100%.
Yeah, we help.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Lindsay.
Yeah, no.
I was just going to say, yeah, we help families navigate the open enrollment process. We help them in their district school if they want to stay in their district school and they just need help with their IEP or the evaluation process. That's kind of what I've been seeing on my end. Lindsay, would you add or take away anything?
I mean, I definitely, it's part of what I love about my job is just the variety. I do talk to some parents who are like, I do not want a public option. I definitely want a private option. Okay, great. That's the constraints that then I work within to help them find a fit. But there's plenty that don't have that. And so if I know of a good public option, I will for sure put that in front of them so that they can weigh that against their family's needs and values.
Well, and that's great to know because, a lot of them don't know really all the things that public schools have done, and the differentiation, the programs. I know that there's locations, at least in Mesa public schools, that support homeschool and provide some of those alternative extracurricular type events to support homeschool families. And it's, it's a sad thing. Educators aren't always good marketers. And so having somebody like you to tell us what's out there and what are the options for us is such a great tool for families.
Yes.
Yeah. So for all of our listeners that might be out of state of Arizona, so correct me if I'm wrong, Lucy, Arizona is an open enrollment state. And I think it's important to kind of understand that definition first. What is a difference between an open enrollment state than another state that might not have that option?
Great question. So what open enrollment means in Arizona is basically if your kiddo isn't doing well at your district school, the district that you're zoned in, you can apply for another district school that's outside of your zoning for your child to attend. So it still allows parents to have access to a public option, but they're not necessarily zoned to their district. They can choose another district that might have, different student teacher ratios, maybe different classes that they lean towards more. Lindsay, would you add anything to that?
A lot of times you'll see an open enrollment, like you'll see families interested in open enrollment when there's like a specific extracurricular that they're very drawn to, or if they have a bilingual program like over here, but they don't have it in their, district. There's usually something driving it where they're really interested in a different district.
How long has Arizona been an open enrollment state?
That is a really good question. I don't know that one off the top of my head. I would have to look into that.
I should have researched that too.
while.
Maybe I'll have Jesse, our producer, look at that. And
I
he'll
think
tell us
it's
that
been
answer.
a long time, though. I mean, we've had ESAs for 10 years, just not universal. So I think open enrollment goes even farther back than that.
What are other states in the country that you're familiar with that are very similar to Arizona with this open enrollment concept?
I am also not 100% sure on that either. I do know other states that have school choice options that are really helpful for families. Florida is doing a really wonderful job. Alabama, West Virginia is freeing up their universal ESA program too. And so we're just really excited to see more states navigate ESAs and basically unlock that for families.
Gotcha. Now, it's interesting. So you mentioned we've had ESA in Arizona here for a little over 10 years. I think it was around 2012, 11 when that was kind of first introduced. But it wasn't universal then. My understanding was ESA was originally introduced more for the special needs crowd. Is that correct?
Yes. That's exactly right. It was originally for students with disabilities as the majority customer back when it first started. And then in 2022, it went universal for all K through 12 students who are not enrolled in the public option.
Got it. And so I like looking at trends, right? Because I like to see the directions of things. And it's almost like, hey, we identified a really easy group to say, hey, they need some options, right? Because universal and general education, it has such a daunting task, right? I mean, it's giving all this information to such a diverse crowd of kids, and neurodivergence, just thinking differently, we're understanding more and more is a broad thing. It's not just one or two little diagnoses. It captures a whole range of kids. And so the trend I'm seeing is this works so well for this group. There's other populations of kids that could benefit by this choice and this personalized education approach.
Absolutely.
Is that kind of what you're seeing too? I mean, and I'm hoping, because I only live in Arizona. I'm a 6th generation Arizona desert rat. I don't travel much. Yeah, I'm homegrown, and I'm not as familiar with the other states. Is that kind of the same trend? Like, is it just about this personalized approach meeting the needs of families better?
Yes, that's what we want for our nation. We do believe that if every child is in a unique environment if every child's in an educational environment that meets their unique needs, then we're going to see that child growing and thriving in ways that they wouldn't have been able to grow and thrive in other educational environments. And then that child grows up, they become, maybe an astronaut, maybe the best baker that in their community, and they start a baking company. We want kids to have that kind of option and experience, not only for their own growth and flourishing, but also for their communities. And then for our nation as a whole, that we have people entering the workforce with passions and excitement and knowledge of who they are and what they're interested in, to just build up a stronger nation.
Wow. I love it. And it's going to be cool to see how these trends progress within our country. Like, I love the fact that Florida's adapting it. Alabama, sounds like West Virginia's trying to get involved with it. It's been a big benefit for my family. I have one child in a charter school, then I have another child in a district school, and then I have another one that's in another district school, but like 20 miles away from my house. Mm-hmm. And so we're all over the place. So we believe in school choice. And I love it. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so briefly, just anecdotally, 2 years ago, we almost moved to Texas for a job opportunity that my husband had. But when you get into the nitty gritty of all of it, we started looking at what the school options would be in that area. And essentially, because that, especially at that time, they've had some legislation since then, it basically was a wash then. And we ended up not moving because of the fact that they did not have the same school options that we were able to access here. So I think even just for Arizona being competitive, it's a plus. Yeah.
It's a huge plus.
Well, we like to win.
We like to win. We like to win.
Well, and as you know, parents, we're all parents here. We are very passionate about our kids, and we will move and adjust our families based upon education.
Yep.
So it's very important, the work that you do.
Okay, so let me ask a question about moving. And it has, floored me. I guess from being from Arizona, I didn't realize how special we were as a state until I started hearing from families that are moving from other places. And I was shocked, frankly, at how many calls I got from our school of families that said, hey, I'm looking to move to Arizona for autism services for my kid, and I have questions about your school. And then following right up with that is, how does ESA work for a family moving to Arizona? Is that different than just residents?
Right. So I've seen the same thing, Nathan, where I talk to families who are like, okay, I'm hearing this. Is it really worth it to move, and to talk it through with them? I think for families who are moving and they already have an autism diagnosis, specifically an autism diagnosis, as long as it is from a qualified examiner, which is going to be an MD or a neuropsych, basically anyone who's doing those evaluations anyway, we can absolutely use that to apply into ESA from another state. That's completely fine. What you can't do is you can't use an IEP. So that's the district paperwork from out of state. So if little Johnny is moving from Iowa and he had an IEP that had autism, but he also has a diagnosis, if he applies for ESA using that Iowa, district IEP, it's going to get rejected. But if he applies with that diagnosis, he's going to be completely fine.
Okay, so what is the difference, Lindsey, between public funding? So if I'm a parent that wants to go to a district school, or if I want to do this ESA, can you give us a little bit of a background of ESA? What is it? Why should I care? And how does that benefit our families?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are a parent who's deciding between schools, one way to think of it is any school that's not, or any option, it doesn't even have to be a school. Maybe you decide to home educate and then use ESA funding for other things like tutors and enrichments and whatnot. That's an option as well. But any option that is not public, so in Arizona, that's going to be your district schools, your charter schools, even online public schools. ESA does not work for that because the state's giving them those funds directly. So you just don't even have to worry about applying for anything. It's just going to automatically be paid from the state to that public option. If you decide that the best option for your kid is going to be either home educating with an ESA or some sort of private option, whether that's private school, hybrid, micro, online, any private option, then you are eligible for ESA funding. And at that point, you would just apply. The application process is online. It honestly is not very extensive. You just need the birth certificate to prove you've got a real kid. You need a proof of residency to prove that you really live in Arizona. And then once you upload that, then they have 30 days to get back to you. And at that point, you can sign your contract. And if you have additional paperwork, like if you've never been in a district school, you're going to run into this all the time with kindergartners, because if they've never been to a district school and they want to go to a private option, then that's where you do what I was mentioning before, where you update their category after they've already been accepted to
Gotcha. So that applies even to in-state people where they just haven't been in the public school system yet.
Exactly.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
All right, you heard it here first. Special tips and tricks from Love Your Schools.
Well, let's keep going on these tips and tricks of Love Your School. And that's why I'm so excited that you're here to kind of share. We've had a lot of private conversations about how to navigate through ESA. We wanted to share this with our families so that you can enjoy the same benefits. So let's just talk a little bit more deep dive into ESA. How young or how early can I apply for ESA with my child?
So 3 years old. Now you can apply 90 days before their third birthday. So I'll talk to parents where the child is 2 or whatever. And I'm like, put something on your calendar, on your, scheduler 90 days before their third birthday. That's the earliest that you can apply for ESA funding. For pre-K, for kids, before they turn 5, the only ESA option are for kids who have disabilities. So if there's not any sort of disability, then they're not eligible until kindergarten. I believe the most common one is just a speech delay. And so I talk to parents all the time where they're like, oh, I didn't realize that a speech delay would qualify us for pre-K ESA funding, but it does.
So if you have a child that has a speech delay and you want to provide additional resources for them, would be like a speech therapist or an ABA provider of some type, I can apply for 30 day for ESA 90 days before their third birthday?
Yep. That's right. So it needs to be signed by a qualified examiner. This is one of those little nuances in the law that actually makes me crazy because a speech pathologist is not a qualified examiner. So a lot of times the parent will have the evaluation done by the speech pathologist, but then they need to have a doctor who also says, yes, I'm confirming this child has a speech delay, and then they can absolutely apply.
Okay, so to clarify, a qualified examiner is going to be some kind of an MD or doctor level person, whether that's a psychologist, psychiatrist, or...
Yes, so an MD, a DO, a neuropsych, and I think a psychologist. So those are the ones. The ones we run into that are issues are over and over the speech pathologist. It does not qualify. And every once in a while, a nurse practitioner will sign a diagnosis. They also do not accept that.
Okay. And are there some categories that don't count, or is it any of those developmental delays or special needs that would qualify to allow that, 3-year-old application?
Yeah, any of the categories for special needs, they qualify. The most common one would be your speech delay for little kids.
So you heard it here first. Sorry, speech path people, you are not doctors. So sorry, the state doesn't recognize you. So we love our speech path people, but you're not doctors.
Okay, now I'm going to come from the parent side because we're a resource, right? Mm-hmm. So Love Your Schools, do you guys have resources and connections for qualified examiners for families that maybe don't have that resource yet?
So if a family reaches out to us, we do have people that we know that we've been in contact with that we're happy to send over to families if they're like, I have no idea where to look or where to start. We can
That's because
provide
that's
that.
all of us. We have no idea what to do, especially when they're 3. We're new to it. We're drinking from the fire hose.
Yes.
And I guess what I'm trying to highlight is you guys know what you're doing and you have those early connections. So it sounds like you're a great hub, even from that 3-year-old age.
Yes, and what you can also access from us too is we've created these resource guides. We have a special education evaluation resource guide, a dyslexia resource guide, and an autism resource guide. And it basically walks families through the evaluation process, resources available to them, their rights, what they can advocate for. And it kind of gives them tools to walk through the evaluation process. Of course, we're here always for the one-on-one support. But if you want like a booklet or something to take with you or to look at or to read so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming, we've created those too. So you can access those on our website. You just hit Dyslexia Resource Guide in the menu or whatever guide speaks to you. And that is a free resource that we have available to families as well so that they don't have to navigate that alone.
That's awesome. Maybe not for Brad. He doesn't like to read, but I love taking a deep dive.
If it's in a video, something I can color, I'll do it. Now, Lindsey, I'm going to go back to you for a second. Is there a difference with ESA? We talked about doing pre-K, so before they're 5. After they're 5, how does that ESA process work? Is there a difference?
So there's a difference in funding suddenly then. So there's the pre-K ESA program that has its funding levels, and then you have your K through 12. And kindergarten is going to be at 50% of what it is starting in first grade.
Now,
However,
why is that? That sounds very specific.
Lucy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but my understanding is I don't think that you are legally required to send your student to kindergarten in Arizona. So that's why it's not at 100% funding. Is that right? That was okay.
I'd have to look into more about the why behind it, but I do know that it's 50% of kiddos in kindergarten don't receive, or that's the 50% cutoff for why it's not fully funded for kinder.
Yes.
And yeah.
And how would I know as a parent if I'm applying for one or the other? Do you know what the age break is, or is there a specific date that says, hey, at this point it's pre-K, but at this point it's kinder?
Man, so in the handbook, it has, what is the exact language? But it says they have to be 5 years in the year. There's confusion though, because it doesn't say academic year, or is it talking about the calendar year? So one thing to kind of highlight for parents is that ESA is funded based on your age. So every once in a while, especially like with home educating families, it'll be like, oh, they're this age, but we have them in this grade. For ESA funding, they really care about the age. They'll keep them in that cohort, I guess. So we say for kinder, to apply for kinder, you need to be 5, and to have it be like, well, you would be going into kindergarten, we would then recommend that they apply for kinder.
Gotcha. And I can see what you mean by the confusion. I think the language is 5 years old as of January 1st of the school contract year.
Wait, are you saying the government is making it more complicated than what it should be?
No.
No
but
comment.
Do you know
Brad.
who I know could help parents answer that question if they are confused?
Who?
There's this great group called Love Your Schools.
I love your school. I'm so glad that they can be here to help us
Honestly, it really is. Send them to us. We'll talk it through. I'll be able, even based on like the conversation, to be like, okay, I think this is your best bet. You know what I mean? The thing for parents to know is that it's not going to be that they can't do ESA. It's just a matter of where they're placed in the ESA. Are they going to be, a pre-K, or are they going to be kinder? So yeah.
So going back to, if I have a child and I do ESA pre-K because they have a special, either a speech delay, some type of special needs, I can do that. Once a child goes to kindergarten, do they have to reapply for ESA, or can I just keep going like it was?
That's a great question. So that is the one kind of, I don't know, that is one kind of sticky point. Going from pre-K to kinder, they will have to reapply. After that, once they get in kinder, then they'll just renew. Then they can just renew. They don't ever have to like supply that autism diagnosis again or the IEP or whatever it is. But going from pre-K to kinder, they will have to do that. And again, most of them have the paperwork that they need, especially if they already were in pre-K. So.
Gotcha. So it just sounds like in Arizona, pre-K is kind of its own little bucket. And
Yes.
you apply for that ESA in that bucket, but then once you do ESA kinder through 12, that's its own little thing, their own little bucket that they can continue. Is that correct? So do I have to reapply for ESA like from first grade, second grade, third grade and on, or how does that work?
No, what happens is that ESA will send an email, typically in around May. They'll send an email saying, "Hey, are you planning to continue with ESA?" And then it's just a renew. So it'll be in the same category that it's been in, unless if there's I think developmental delay is the one I think of that there's an age limit at I believe 10 that goes away. So all of that to say, if they're in the right category, it'll just renew at that category. But then it's an opportunity for the parent to update it if there needs to be an update.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's nice. Then, Lindsay, let me ask you this. Is there any kind of like, I'm always big that I'm worried what I don't know. What would you give as an advice for parents new to ESA for them to understand the process?
Man, let me think about that. I think the biggest thing for parents that I try to emphasize for them is to not just wait, to not just sit on it, or if they haven't heard anything, or because there are deadlines. Like right now, it's September. For those parents who maybe it took a while or there was a snag somewhere, they need to sign their contract by September 30th, or else they miss all of Q1 funding. So there is several months where parents can apply, but the times where it's been kind of a rough situation, it's been because maybe an email got sent and then the parent didn't do anything with it for like 2 weeks, or like there's a lag at every point, and then parents can end up not getting things in time to get all of their funding, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so timing's important to note, and you're right. ESA does fund in quarters, and so that can be a factor in deciding when they apply, or how they kind of space out that timing.
So just don't procrastinate. Make sure you're on top of your paperwork.
And again, if they have questions, Love Your Schools can help answer that question on timing. Huh?
Yes, that's exactly right. If you have questions, don't sit there and try to figure it out. Just give me a call. I can probably help you in 5 minutes, and tell you what your next step is. So
okay, now,
to be proactive.
Do you have the capacity to help all these parents that I think I want to just start sending your way? I mean, are you okay if we just open the floodgates and it's loveyourschool.org?
Yeah.
Yes, send them.
I
We're ready.
So. Yeah,
We want to help
absolutely.
more families.
Yes.
Well, Lucy, if you don't mind sharing any stories of the best customers for your program.
I mean, honestly, any family that has a question about their child's K through 12 education or preschool education with a disability, we are at your service to help answer questions that you may have. What this can look like is helping a family navigate, how do I start home educating? What parents are around? What resources are available? We have resources available to you. If you're a parent listening in and you want to start the evaluation process, or you just have this really small lingering feeling like my child is just not where I think they should be, and they're crashing out at the end of the day and I don't know what to do, give us a call. We can help you walk through the evaluation process and talk through what that might look like for you and what your rights are. One of my favorite stories, and it's as small as applying for ESA, but we had a family come to us. Her daughter was 17 with an autism diagnosis. She had been homeschooling, so not home educating. She wasn't using an ESA. But the daughter came to us, or the parents came to us because their daughter came to them. And she said, I really need a social interaction. I just feel so lonely. I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. And so we helped them get on an ESA, and it unlocked dog therapies, enrichment classes for her. Now she's sewing. She's in all these other tutoring and therapies that were not available to her before. It's an easy as an application process that we can walk a family through that unlocks all these other doors for them and their children. So really, if you're a family and you're like, I have questions about private schools in my area near me that might be a good fit, you know, if your kiddo has autism and you live in the East Valley, we'll probably mention Polaris Academy because it is such an amazing resource. We're so happy you guys are there. We can't thank you guys enough for your service and heart for seeing kiddos with special needs, specifically autism, and just seeing them as whole people, and being able to help walk alongside them and everything that comes up. It just makes a huge difference in the lives of the children that you guys see every day. So for us to be able to, in good faith and confidence, send kids your way, it's like such a relief for us because parents are desperate, especially for kiddos who have severe learning disabilities. So thank you for making that easy for us.
Well, and thank you for love your school and your mission. We support it. I love working with your group. Lindsey, if I can give you another shout out, I work with a lot of our families to get them through the ESA process. We had one family, the mom was almost in tears about applying with ESA and navigating them through the system. And Lindsey, when I connected you two, it was just a breath of fresh air, and you were very patient. You walked her through the process. We had to do a Zoom, just kind of help a little bit, navigate the system a little bit. But we really appreciate your hard work for these families in Arizona. As we wrap up, thank you again for being here. I'm going to ask you first, Lindsey, what are the 3 best ways that Love Your School can help Arizona families?
The 3 best ways. One thing I always want families to know when they talk to me is that we are a nonprofit, so I am never going to send them a bill. I am happy to help them. They do not need to worry about that. So I guess I would want them to know that our services are free to them, and that's a joy. That's part of my job I love. I'm not having to worry about, or that the family doesn't have to worry about that when they need, assistance. What else?
If I could
ask me the question
too.
one more time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's like with that free help, it comes also with personalized one-on-one support. So when a family calls in, they're not going to get an operator. They're not going to get somebody who has no idea what's happening. They're going to get a real parent walking through this, or a real person on the other line, Lindsey or somebody else from our team, engaging with them and triaging their concerns. It's not just like, hey, if my kiddo's hey, I think my kiddo needs a new school. Well, why do you feel that way? Do you think that there's an evaluation that's needed? What schools are you looking for? What worked? What hasn't worked? We're there to provide that personalized support to families. You don't have to do a ChatGPT AI. You get a real person. And no hate on ChatGPT. Honestly, no hate at all. But just for families who are desperate and want a real person, we're there for them, and it's free for them. And we also have over 70 resources on our website. If you are a parent and you don't want to talk to a person, but you just want to read and soak in the information available to you, we have that option for you as well. If you want to follow us on Facebook or Instagram, we really do keep parents super dialed in on things that might be going on or happening. That's Love Your School AZ. Families can come and just browse our socials, see what's going on, maybe events in the area that they're interested in. And if they want a very rare, or not rare, but a newsletter that comes out when there is specific things that we think they should be aware of, or resources available to them, we do send out a newsletter that they're welcome to sign up for on our website as well. That way they're just dialed in the loop, in case there's deadlines happening or an event that they might want to attend to, or, we just, or they're thinking through their future for their kids and they want resources for that. We provide all of that there on our newsletter too.
Wonderful. And we're going to put that all over our podcast. We'll share your email address if that's okay. We'll put your social media stuff in there. You also have a podcast as well?
Yes.
And what could families learn from your podcast?
If families, well, right now it's actually in remission. We're kind of rebranding it. So if families want to dial in, we'll loop them in when it launches. But essentially, we want it to be something that helps families navigate their education options and just be aware of the different education options available to them in the great state of Arizona that we all live.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you both for being here today. Nathan, I'm so glad we made this connection.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you said 3 things, I was like, there's no way they can limit to 3. And sure enough, you didn't disappoint. So it is just, listen, as a parent, it is so refreshing to know there are people that know what they're doing and that the information is personal. Getting back to that word, your education is personal, your program and your organization, it's personal, because all of this really is at the core of it's families, it's people. And we love your mission and how you really have been such a great resource to them.
All right, well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making us part of your day. And now let's go do some good. Thank you.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.